Welcome to the show that teaches you the things your parents and teachers are too afraid to. The Helios blog. Today we learn on the Whatever podcast how women rate men. Is it fair? Is it bell curve distributed? Or is it something different entirely? Here we go.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Never known that she was interested. I knew she was interested.
Well,
because
they
I
tell
knew how to
their,
read it.
I mean, at least when I was younger, like they tell their friends, right? And then their friends would, it would somehow get back to you in the grapevine and shit like they have ways of letting you know that they're interested without ever telling you they're interested.
But I mean, so I think this would fall back to women's hypergamous nature. So they're going to do this for the top 10, maybe top 20% of men. That leaves 80% of men never receiving that sort of even covert sort of subtextual initiative, token initiative that women will display. So, I mean...
But then are they showing the interest in that case at all? Those 80% of men, are they showing that they're interested in any way?
Yeah, and they're getting rejected.
Okay, fair.
Let's pull up the chart, please. All right, so this is how men rate women on OkCupid. You see that's a pretty reasonable distribution from least attractive on the left, most attractive on the right, and then how women rate men. So women are very harsh judges of male attractiveness, which I think kind of goes to women being poor assessors of where they stand in the dating marketplace, which is typically why they end up chasing fuckboys who they don't get commitment from.
So what do we do about that?
What do you mean?
How do we fix that?
Well,
Stop giving up the pussy.
How do you fix choosing F-boys? Stop using social media. Stop using dating apps. Yeah. Get the commitment up front before sleeping with a guy. Don't choose a guy that every single girl wants. Choose a guy that's on your level. Understand your own attractiveness. You know, logical things that 2024 girls never ever think about. How about you ask your mom who you should choose, or your dad? How about that? How about you bring the guy to your house and see what your parents think? How about that? Instead of sleeping with the guy within 20 minutes, letting him, put some liquid on your face, within the first 20 minutes, but finding bowing or, cooking for a man too degrading.
Even if you don't.
Oh, yeah, we love ads. Speaking of, here we go. Best part of life is ads. We love ads. Yes, ads. Wonderful.
Well, I mean, you're kind of fucked because you've already poisoned the well to some degree, because once, for example, if you were rich and then you became poor and then your living conditions decreased substantially, do you think that would be hard to cope with? Like, you lived in a really nice house and now you have you've got a roommate and you're living in the slums. Would that be hard to cope with?
I think it depends how mentally strong you are.
Well, so what ends up happening is, because women end up having sexual access to men outside of their league, this will happen by, okay, you hook up with a professional athlete and you're a 19-year-old nobody college girl. You're going to start comparing the average 19-year-old college boys who are kind of within your league, who you probably should be dating.
Yeah, they're in those girls' league, right?
Yeah. You're going to be like, well, I've had access to this guy. He's this attractive. He's got this much money. He's got his own place. He's not living in a dorm room with 3 other dudes and we got to put a sock on the door. No, he's got his own place. Fantastic place. He's super attractive. He's super fit. He's got money. He pays for dates, all this stuff. Then you're going to go back to the guy who would actually give you long-term commitment and a relationship, and you're going to be like, damn, Damn. The fuck? So you're going to have resentment for the guy who's actually in your league. So you guys are kind of fucked.
I mean, personally, I've never gone like outside of my.
Yeah, here we go. So this is what? Every girl is bad, but I'm special and different. Choose me, pick me. I'm not like the other girls. And yet, where's your ring? Where's your husband? Why are you on this podcast?
League, like I've never done.
You'd think that, but
Well, what I'm saying is like athletes and all that. So I know like. Obviously, that isn't. I know personally that's not realistic.
I'm not saying all women have dated professional athletes. I'm using it sort of as an example to articulate the point. They might not necessarily have status, but they could be exceptional in one way or another, whether it's their looks or their personality. And then you look at all the other men. Maybe it was a guy who was really good in bed, and then all the other men after that you're gonna be thinking about the guy who really had you wired and figured out. Or you were able to hook up with a really attractive guy. All the guys who come after don't live up to how attractive he was.
That's called being an alpha widow.
Whether that's his personality, his looks, how good he was in bed, whatever.
But like, don't men do the same though?
No.
Like when they date a like super hot chick or like someone they truly love.
They do not do that. Men are much better able to compartmentalize than women. Much better.
Of like, you know.
No, because here's the thing, right? So while some men maybe rarely get lucky, again, if you're an average guy, if you step to a really hot girl and you
get
make yourself
rejected.
Sexually available to her, if you step outside of your league,
you get rejected instantly.
And you step to a girl who's 1, 2, 3, 4 points more attractive than you, and you're like, "Hi, I really like you."
Ads. But what he's going to say is, "Hi, I really like you," and then the girl will laugh in his face, throw a drink on him or something. How dare you? But yeah, they were describing alpha
I would
widows.
like to have sex with you. As men, we get rejected on the front end. We get rejected immediately. However, as a woman, if you step to a guy who's more attractive than you, whether you know it or not, and you make yourself sexually available to him, you don't get an instant rejection. You get, "I will gladly have sex with you. I will never," but you, whether he tells you this or not, you will never get commitment from him. You might.
Right. And this is where women fail in 2024. They get chads in, on Tinder, the most attractive guy in their area, right? Who's sleeping with 1,000 girls, who's already slept with 1,000 girls, and you think he's gonna choose to stop sleeping with 1,000 girls to lock you down? No freaking way.
Have sex with him once. You might have sex with him multiple times. He might even he might even string you along for weeks or months or longer. And he's using you for sex. Yeah. But just on the basis of your looks alone, he's disqualified you from a long-term relationship with him. But he enjoys the easy access to sex. And so...
Or sometimes it's not necessarily the looks. Sometimes it's she's just easy. She's just another girl. She looks she looks good enough, but her personality is cancer, and she's not good for a long-term relationship. But we're banging anyway, so whatever.
No, it's totally different. Because as a woman, if you're unattractive, if you're pleasant, and you make yourself sexually available to a guy who's more attractive than you, he'll take you up on it. But you'll never get the ring. You'll never get the relationship.
Weren't you just saying, though, that you don't like when girls don't put out on the first, second, or third date, though?
What? I'm not sure.
Yes, but girls have different categories for men, which they don't seem to know that they have, but they do. There's 3 categories that women put men in instantly, within the first minute or two of meeting them. There's invisible, so invisible guy isn't even seen by girls. So that's the bottom 80% of men. Then there's maybe, that's about 15% of men. Maybe is if he's charismatic enough, if he convinces me well enough, if he's got enough additive qualities, maybe I'll sleep with him. And then there's the 5%. Hell yes. You could basically do no wrong. You're so good and so superior to other men in her eyes or whatever. You just have you hit all the right buttons for that specific girl, that you can practically do no wrong, and you're like an angel to her. And those are the three categories. So when women say you guys don't like when we don't put out on the first few dates, what they're actually describing is their experience with maybe guys. So women never even talk to the invisible guys. They only ever talk to that top 20% category. And in that 15% of that 20%, which are the biggest percentage of the group of men that they ever consider, they're maybe guys, and they could get it wrong on the first date, second date, whatever, and so the girls don't put out, right? So those are the guys that, like, she's thinking, well, if I ever get into a relationship with him, maybe I'll put out. They're not like, hell yes, within 20 minutes I'm letting him, on my face. So so when they say you guys don't like when, you would only ever say maybe to a guy that was a maybe guy. You would never say maybe to Chad.
Sure, what that has to do with anything.
Well, in the position, the kind of the caveat here, he's not saying whether or not he likes it if a woman puts out on the first, second, or third date, but rather that if a woman puts out on the first, second, or third date with other men and then says you must wait, that's where he has the problem.
Yep.
I see.
That's it. I want her to be hell yes for me. I don't want to be a maybe guy for her. And if I am a maybe guy, I don't care. I'm not interested. I must be a hell yes.
Okay, so I don't disagree with you at all. I actually do agree with your position, but it's like, for example, like I've heard like on TikTok from a lot of women that they say that once a man, who's like average, let's say.
You should listen to everything that's said on TikTok. They never say anything wrong there. But again, when a girl says average, she's actually being disingenuous. To a girl, an average man is a man in the top 20% who is not in the hell yes category. He's an average. He's a maybe guy. That's what average means to girls. So take 100% of men, cut 80% out of that, take that 20%, and that 20% is bell curved for attractiveness. That's how women choose men. So men bell curve all women. Women bell curve only the top 20%, and they find 15% of that 20% to be average. So when they say average, that's what they actually mean. One of the men in the top 20%. Between the top 80 and the top 95, all those men are quote-unquote average to her.
And he gets a girl who is, above him, and it doesn't. And during that relationship, his view of himself raises, so they often end up cheating, and they kind of, because they think that, I can get this girl who's way hotter than me, so that means I can get
this is called solipsism. Women assume that because they're like that men are like that. Men are not like that.
Others. So I've heard that view. So like
the Billie Eilish quote, like you give an ugly man a chance and he thinks, I don't know what the fuck she. That
Yeah, is that
bullshit.
what you're talking about? Like, don't fuck an ugly guy, because then like it goes.
Well,
to
that's not what I'm saying. But it's like how you pointed out. That's like once a woman like gets to a man who is like above her, and then she kind of raises her. She raises her standards, so it's like she doesn't give other men a chance. So I'm kind of like talking in that kind of similar scenario where a man gets with a hotter woman, and then they think of themselves as way more important because they can get it.
So there's two things. One, he's probably bringing something else to the table, whether that, all the women here say, I think you were saying, well, if he can be really hot, but if he's not bringing stimulating conversation or intellectual, then whatever. So men can attract women in more ways than just their looks. They can make up for it either with status. You look at certain rappers or musicians, these men are not always particularly attractive, but there's no shortage of women who are ready to date them or have sex with them. So there's status, there's money, and then there's personality. Some men have very endearing and charming or Riz or whatever you want to call it, personalities, and they can get women this way. However, though, the second component here is that while I'll grant that there are ugly men that can get with more attractive women, this is...
If an ugly guy was able to get with attractive women, it means that he's got crazy charisma. He'll be like Patrice O'Neill, right? That kind of guy. But that means he has qualities that are so superior in other ways that he's still able to get with attractive girls even though he's unattractive physically. So he makes up for it in other ways. He's got, what's it called? Game, money, or looks. Choose two. That's what you need. It's nice to have all three, if you could.
It's absolutely dwarfed by the amount of women who are sleeping with men outside of their league.
Without a doubt.
So sure, yes, there's ugly men who got a better looking woman. But it's not as common. It's not nearly as commmen as the reverse.
I'm not saying that.
As girls sharing a guy and never getting married or having any committed relationships and saying that, all guys are trash, when really they're only choosing the top 95%. Like the top 5% of all men, and then complaining about them. Well, yes, all the chads are assholes because they have infinite access, right?
It's common. I'm just asking, how does that correlate?
What do you mean?
Your opinion, because, that's fine because you did answer my question. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you in a way. I think that's so subjective too, because sometimes there are guys that are dating or seeing women that are substantially or just more attracted to them, and they're just grateful in a way, just very loving and adoring of their partner,
they are, and then she disdains them because the chad she was with before treated them like dirt. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you know what, she is out of my league. I'm not gonna cheat. I'm kind of self-aware. I'm a 5 and she's like a 10.
Yeah.
Why would I cheat? So I do think that there are definitely men that get women that are out of their league.
That's a real scientific finding.
That get out of their league, and they're just like, I love you, and I'm not messing this up.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not disagreeing with you in any way. It's just about the point of where the women, once they get a man, they kind of tend to go after him for the they raise their standards after getting with them, which is what Brian mentioned, and I'm kind of piggybacking on it, on where
and more ads. Yes, we love ads. Yes, ads are the best. Yes, thank you, ads today. Love it.
How, again, I've seen on TikTok women talk about it, how their man did kind of a similar thing where they cheated on them because they thought that they could do better.
No, I agree, that's
after
real.
getting. So it's that's just the only
I definitely understand that
so
side
I'm
of it
not
too.
arguing.
I was just
I completely agree with the points.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, let's do. Can we go to Twitch really quick? You guys, go to twitch.tv/whatever. Drop us a follow and a Prime sub if you have one. Guys, if you have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch. It's a quick, free, easy way to support the show every single month. Any Primes in the chat? I think it's bugged, boys. I don't know. Prime subs might be bugged. Can somebody test it out? And then, if you guys can, drop us a follow, mods, if you can spam it in the YouTube chat. So, guys, we're trying to get to 100,000 followers on Twitch before the end of the year. So, and then we also have a Discord, discord.gg/whatever. If you guys can join it, we post all kinds of cool stuff. We got the behind the scenes. We've got the wall of haters, the hate mail.
Sorry, I didn't care to listen to this ad. Let's continue.
We got a super here. Q, you want to read this one?
Yeah. Question to Q. You said the last 2 girlfriends you had were virgins, non-party girls. You slept with them. I'm just curious why you didn't marry them. Love the whatever podcast. I didn't marry them because I didn't want to. Relationship conflict. Conflict is a part of every relationship, and you can choose to deal with it or you can choose to leave. And in time, when you learn in each other, conflict arises. As a guy, I walk away. I don't put up with certain things. So I left.
Do you want to get married?
I'm not even sure at this point.
Okay.
See, but you took that away from her for the next step.
No, that is not how that works. He didn't take anything from the girl. She chose to give to a man she considered superior. Then she didn't qualify for his attention.
Took what away from her?
Her virginity.
She gave it up.
Yeah, but like she was probably expecting for you to be the one.
No, she wasn't.
That's her fault. Taking and consensually giving.
I didn't take anything.
Yeah, but I didn't mean it like, yeah, I took this from
into
you.
the mic, into the mic.
I didn't mean like, yeah, like I took this from me. I mean like she was probably waiting for somebody. Was she
Wait,
not?
so are women owed marriage?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that she probably was waiting for somebody special.
I'm always confused by this, though, if I can come to Q's defense a little bit. It's like, if a guy breaks up with a woman, he's like a terrible monster, and he should have stayed. Like, she was owed something. But, like, if men start feeling like they're owed or entitled to relationships or sex with women, this is almost always, like, very frowned upon.
Yeah, I mean, because I said I left because there was conflict. So obviously she wasn't an angel. She takes accountability in that. And if I'm being honest, she actually is engaged currently. But I dated her back from 2013 to 2016. So now she's currently engaged. When she got engaged, you know, she texted me and told me, thank you for teaching me how to love. Thank you for being a good representation. Good. Yeah, that's the message I received from her. When she said, I'm engaged now.
Case specific.
Yeah.
For sure.
So just out of curiosity, like, did the age have something to do with it because they were virgins, or was it like just their?
No, they just happened to be virgins. Okay. They just happened to be virgins. I didn't date them because they were virgins. They just
I'm not saying, but it's like, were they like on the younger side and just didn't have a lot of experience? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like you were like kind of their first like person whom they actually trusted enough.
Yeah. Well, my other ex, she was 22 and she was still a virgin.
I mean, that's pretty young, I'd say.
Yeah, so.
All right.
We have some chats too. Let me get this pulled up. One sec, guys. Got some chat. Yo, Horse, thank you for the gifted 10 subs, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. We have, can I have you read this chat? Go ahead.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay. My body count is 500 plus. He isn't taking her seriously. I've had sex with a woman within 30 minutes of talking to her. They aren't looking for a relationship. Stop the cap.
You fuck hoes. You fuck hoes. Like your body count is 500 plus. You clearly chasing a certain type of woman, my guy.
Law Paladins, your thoughts? We have 3 more.
Sorry, muting the ad.
Thank you, North Alberta Kid. Thank you for the Canadian 100.
For me to read it?
Yeah.
Brian, we all know if the other 90% of men could do it, they would. I'll tell
Indeed.
you who's to blame. Whores, players, there are many more whores through objectively. The 90% come in here.
This girl can't even read. Just goes to show, right? As a man, you have to put in all this effort. You got to be smart. You got to be hardworking to have a podcast. As a girl, what do you need to have? Don't even need a high school education.
And bash woman.
Can't even talk.
Well, I
can't even read.
Word whores, I do feel like that's pretty, like, on point, just in general.
North Alberta Kid, merci beaucoup for the Canadian 100, which is like what, $10 American, I think. Thank you, Captain Awesome. Thank you.
Just like the car too. Most women believe that they hold the same value as a woman with actual, what is that? Chastity and what is that? Virtuous car one. Why would a man?
She literally can't read, man.
I did not read that fast enough. I'm sorry.
Would want a car 2 over 1.
I'll pull it back up.
Just like car 2, most women believe that they could hold the same value as a woman with the actual chastity and virtuous car 1. Why would a man want car 2 over car 1?
Okay, so I actually would like to answer that, just because there are some cars, you know, like especially the more vintage cars, for example, they've been, you know, around like for a while, and they would sit in the garage.
Yeah, here we go. This dumb crap
like,
again.
They have not put the test of actually like that that they're reliable, that they wouldn't break. And there are a few cars, like for example, there's a Jaguars, you know, like a few Jaguars, like where they're just not made to begin with reliable. So you would want a car with a few more miles on it, you know, just to make sure that it wouldn't just break apart, you know, like 100, 200 miles in. However, which is why it's completely weird to compare cars to women, because cars are made by, you know, all these different people, all these different components that are playing part to it, and women, you know, they're human beings.
He's clearly talking about women.
Well, yes, I know
Very
that.
clearly.
I know
Yeah.
that he's clearly talking about women, which is why, like, I don't think that that's a
good
fair
analogy.
comparison.
Yeah, you don't
at
think that's a good
all.
analogy?
Like in any way, just because again, cars are, you know, they're machines and they're made, you know.
Yes, yet another girl that is not able to think in analogies.
They're very technical, and women, again, it's a whole different aspect. Like, you can't compare like an inanimate made object with, you know, a human being.
I think
That's
it's an
all I'm
interesting
saying.
comparison. I'm not going to say that I like it, but I think it's very interesting because when it comes to relationships, like as a woman or a man, I think that as a woman going into a relationship, knowing who you are and who you are as a romantic partner, whether that be sexually, your communication styles, I think knowing those things are so important when seeing how compatible you can be with someone.
But what does that have to do with the car?
It doesn't have anything to do with the car, but we know the comparison that the person in the
Man, again, we can't even talk. We're on a podcast, can't even talk, can't even read. Enough said. Okay, let's hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. You can see the list of all the people that have bought my books there. If you want me to teach you how to get good at getting girls, great. Just message me at my email. That's theheliosblog@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.